Hello, hello. It is Saturday morning. Is anybody awake and out there? We will find out soon enough here. Let's see. Let me know if anybody can hear me out there in the universe. All right, it's showing 4 people here. 4 people. Pop-up live stream, everybody. Pop-up live stream, because why not? You only live once. Actually, I want to talk about a show that I watched, kind of a not really a documentary, an interview that I watched that was incredible. What up, Corey Hagan? What's going on? All right, we got a few out there. What's going on, Carlos? Big John Collector's Cards, good to see you. All right. Yeah, sorry, guys. This is a pop-up. This is like zero warning. Just hit the button. My wife took the kids to breakfast, so they're all out of the house. So I'm like, you know what? Let's do this thing. Let's do it. Orlando, what's going on? Good to see you. What's everybody doing this weekend? Any big plans? Starting to cool off here in North Carolina. It's actually kind of cold. I think my wife said there's some sort of like hurricane thing that we have to watch for. I don't know. All right. So first topic, Tom Brady Unfiltered on Patrick Bet-David's channel. It's called Valuetainment on YouTube. You have to watch this. If you're a sports fan, not even if you're a football fan, but just a sports fan, you've got to watch this interview. So basically what this is, it's listening to Tom Brady talk. It's called Unfiltered, and that's exactly what it is. It's completely unfiltered, where we're all used to hearing Tom Brady talk kind of press conference, style, to where it's, it's very like, yeah, we're getting ready for the upcoming week. They're a good team and this and that, and we have to prepare. This is like the no BS, just very, very straightforward Tom Brady talking about all things sports, his challenges, his upbringing, life. It's amazing. It's really, really, it's really worth the watch. It's about 90 minutes, I think. The one good thing too, Patrick Bet-David does a really good job of just letting Tom speak, and Tom Brady's literally talking for probably 90% of the interview. So, Patrick Bet-David kind of throws in a few questions, but it is not a back and forth. It's really kind of more of a motivational speech by Tom Brady. It's incredible. It is really incredible. So check that out. Whether you are, a Tom Brady fan or not, it's really irrelevant. After I watched it, I was ready to run through a brick wall. I was really fired up. It kind of like rejuvenated everything. So very cool. Because it's been, like I said, it's been a tough couple of months for us from a family perspective. We lost 3 family members over the last 90 days. So we actually have a funeral to go to next weekend. And watching this, I was just like, damn, man, this dude is incredible. So like I said, if you like Tom Brady or not, irrelevant. If you just want to hear kind of something, a little pick me up and a little bit more, background, it's a great watch. Really, really great watch. Couple of announcements. So I talked to DPZ, that's Dennis, who does his collector series on my channel on Saturdays, typically, not every week, but he does do it probably 2 or 3 times a month. He's also going to add in some solo episodes. So I'm excited about that. So that'll probably be next, if not next Saturday. He might have a guest next Saturday, but going to start doing some solo episodes to run on the channel. And I'm looking forward to that. He does a great job with the collector series when he has a guest on. He also does a show with Filmington, our buddy Filmington, on Filmington's channel. And then with Jeremy Lee here every other week, he's got Taking Stock with Jeremy Lee. And so he's going to be doing some solo episodes here as well, which I'm excited about for him. And then the Collectibles Dad channel, that's my second channel. I'm going to really work to build it up. We've been, like I said, extremely busy over the summer. And so it's just been trying to keep up with this channel. And that's been all of my effort, really. But I want to start really branching out. The Collectibles Dad channel will touch on other things outside of sports cards. So you guys know I collect Stranger Things cards. I've got an episode coming out probably today. I've already made it on Star Wars collectibles. So it's just going to be more kind of as collectibles as a whole. We'll talk about different news things and different segments. So that'll be fun. Appreciate that, Orlando. We got all of Ziggy's, all of Ziggy's people here. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mike. Oh, it's funny. All right. So I saw that somebody is going to a card show. I actually missed my Raleigh card show last weekend. That was a bummer. At Popka, Florida, Orlando. Is that typically a big one or a small one, or what's the feels for that card show this weekend? And are you looking for anything in particular, or is it just kind of, something to do, getting out of the house and hanging out? I'm ticked that I missed the card show last weekend. The Raleigh show is actually growing. It's gotten bigger here over the last 6 months, which is good to hear. And actually, it's been kind of more of a collectible show as a whole. It's sports cards, but it's also comic books, and there's Hot Wheels, and there's action figures, and all sorts of different things. So yeah, it's definitely growing. They've moved into, they've done the last couple shows in a larger venue, which is cool. It's in the same general area on the fairgrounds, but just in a bigger building that I like better. It's cool. It's kind of like it almost looks like an old style gymnasium where you've got kind of like a basketball court at the bottom, but then there's like windows everywhere. So it lets a lot of natural light in. It's a really, really cool building here in Raleigh. They didn't use it this last weekend, but I hope that they are able to use it moving forward. It's just so good. It's so good. $1 out of 15 cents is the hobby dead. Nobody is buying. Now, are you talking about in person, Dala, or are you talking about on eBay, or what's your experience there? It's gonna probably, the answer is it depends on what you're selling and where and all that stuff, probably. Yeah, I went to the Dallas Card Show in May of 2021. My only knock on the Dallas Card Show is just how far Allen, Texas is from the airport. That's my only kind of knock on that show. And again, I've only been to one. I've only been to one Dallas show, and it was a huge Dallas show because it's going back to 2021 where we didn't know if there was going to be a national. So a lot of folks just went to that one because it was like, okay, we don't know if there's actually going to be a national in July. That was my first national going back to 2021. And so went to that Dallas card show. It was a blast. Had a great time. But man, just like getting to and from the airport, it's a little bit of a hike. But it is a great show. I do agree. And I've heard the same thing about the value, the box hunting, kind of those dollar boxes and that sort of thing. I've heard exactly the same thing. And then, of course, you've got there's a lot of hobby companies out there. I mean, Fanatics headquartered in Dallas, or they've got a huge presence in Dallas? And then you also or is it Tops? Maybe I'm mixing it up. Of course, Beckett is there. There's a bunch of hobby companies that are in Dallas or just in Texas in general. Oh, okay. Helping out a dealer friend today at the show. Awesome. That's cool. I am not going to go to Chantilly. I don't think I'm going to be going to any card shows through the end of the year. I think I'm just going to keep it kind of low key. I'm going to be setting up at the Atlanta card show, Culture Collision, at the end of January. That'll be fun. I haven't set up at a show in 20 plus years. So that'll be interesting. Last time, no, it was 30 plus years because I was 11 years old at the flea market, 11 or 12 years old at my local flea market. Yeah. Yeah. Card shows haven't slowed down, although we're kind of getting to that time of the year where it's holiday season. It's gonna slow down a little bit November, December timeframe, from what I've seen anyway. But we'll see. I don't know. And then we should have Fanatics shows starting next year. Fanatics shows will be interesting as well. I'm curious to see kind of how they go about doing that. If they're gonna, I mean, Michael Rubin seems to just buy everything that he wants. So is he gonna buy something like a Dallas card show? Or is he going to, just kind of do his own thing? It just seems like he's going to buy something, whatever that is. I've heard speculation about Culture Collision. But I don't know. Culture Collision is a pretty young show. I mean, it's a couple years old, or maybe I think it's their third year in January. I did not go to the very first one. I went to the second one last year. And then, of course, I'll be at the third one. I like how they're trying to do kind of a mix of collectibles. I know there's a lot of mainly sports card shows, or sports card people that watch the channel. But I've also run polls to where I've seen that there's a lot of people that watch that are sports card people, but they collect a variety of different things. They collect, whether it's comic books or it's action figures or it's something, or coins. It could be a whole, host of different things. Culture Collision is trying to do that. I think it's tricky because you have just different audiences. You have sneaker people that are into sneakers. Card people aren't necessarily into sneakers like that, and vice versa. So, I mean, they're trying to kind of do a mix. I hope that they can build it out, though. The one show that I went to that had a good variety. It wasn't sports cards, but it did have non-sports trading cards along with kind of all the other collectibles, are the Comic-Con style shows. I met up with Neo at the Charlotte Hero Convention going back a few months, and that was really, really cool. I know there's a lot of people that talk about, the kind of disdain for, flippers or people that are just in it for money. The one thing about Comic-Cons that you will see is there is a deep collector base for all these different things, whether it be kind of, what's amazing is there's booths that are set up just selling Lego, just selling individual Lego figurines. And it's crowded. I mean, people are all over that thing, just trying to buy different figurines for different Lego sets that they're building out. Or, there's rare ones, of course, where they're trying to maybe, buy hold. They have some sort of a strategy around Lego. It's really, really interesting. What's going on, Prime Picks? Good to see you. Comic-Con crowd, mostly collectors. That is the truth, man. I mean, there are a lot of speculators too. And I consider myself, I've always said I'm a mix of all of these things. I'm a mix of, investor, speculator, collector. And I think that's what's great about this space is you can do all of those things, which is great. But yeah, you're right. The Comic-Con it's cool because it's a different vibe. It's a completely different vibe. A lot of times you have actors that show up. So at the sports card shows, you'll have athletes, which is awesome. But then at the Comic-Con, you'll have, you have movie stars and TV stars that'll pop in. You have all the cosplay people that are dressed up as characters, so it's a whole different vibe, but it's really fun. It's fun. So if you're just into kind of collectibles as a whole, or just looking for, an experience on a weekend to something different, I would say check it out. I would say to definitely check it out. It's Ruben's hobby. He decides the future. Will he cheapen cards like he's done with jerseys? That's a hot take, Orlando. Yeah. I mean, what do you think? So I know Fanatics also there's another label. So you have, of course, like just regular NBA, NFL jerseys and all that stuff. But then they bought, what is that brand that does kind of like the throwback jerseys that are more expensive? I guess my point is are there different, when you say like cheapen cards like he's done with jerseys, are there different price points? Are there different kind of like, yes, you've got kind of the regular, are you talking about cheapen as far as quality? How are you explaining? I just kind of want to get your take on what you mean by that. What's going on, Brett? Selling my first lot of cards and boxes with DC Sports. It's great. I mean, they do a great job. And again, channel partner, they're a sponsor of the channel. So obviously I'm biased, but they've always just done a good job. It's just pretty straightforward, simple process. I will be at the National in Cleveland. That's the plan anyway, barring something weird happening. But yeah, it's penciled in. I need to talk with Neo actually, because he's local there, about hotels. I've been meaning to do that, and I need to book something before all of a sudden it's like, oh, all the hotels are booked, because it's, from what I understand, it's a different setup to where there are no hotels next to the convention center. You're gonna have to Uber in, so it's gonna be a little bit more of a pain. And so I need to figure that out. I need to figure out what I'm doing, whether it be a hotel or we're doing an Airbnb altogether or something like that. I was joking about Neo's house is the Airbnb, but I don't think he thought that was funny. So I don't think that's going to work out. We'll see. Are you going, Corey? Are you going to the National in Cleveland? I'm excited to see. I've heard good things about the space. So that'll be kind of fun to go to a different, Atlantic City. A lot of people did not like Atlantic City, and for good reason, but the actual space itself was a good space. You could argue that the space was better, that the layout was better than Chicago. But of course, Chicago just has so many more pros than Atlantic City. I'm excited to see kind of how Cleveland stacks up in comparison. My understanding is that there's a giant parking lot there Will there actually be parking? I've considered just driving it because it's about a 9.5 hour drive for me to go to Cleveland, as opposed to trying to fly and deal. Lately, I've just had all sorts of mix-ups with airport, like flights are canceled, or it's just been like a nightmare traveling. So I'm just kind of like, I don't know if I want to deal with that. I might drive in and go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton on the way in because it's about an hour and a half outside. I might just do that. Just take a little bit, maybe take an extra day off, hit the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and then go to the show kind of like usual on Thursday. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm excited about it, though. I know it's 11 months or 10 months away, but it's a great time. Always is. Hobby isn't dying, but people are getting smarter about what is worth buying. Unfortunately, grading has given many the impression that if it's graded, it's worth buying. I think that's actually a really good point, Matt. I mean, you are right in the sense that it's not just buying whatever is out there compared to what 2019, 2020. There's I would say a heavy emphasis on rarity / scarcity. People are just maybe paying up a little bit more for something that is a little bit more rare. But then also more kind of rare stuff has fallen in price too, to where, I've been buying Prism Tom Brady stuff, and, that stuff got really, really expensive, along with everything else. That all Prism products in general, you go back a couple of years, Prism basketball was really, really expensive, whether you're talking about veterans or rookies. Now, all of a sudden, that stuff is pretty affordable. It's come down dramatically. Yeah. So I think, it's definitely not dying. There's so many people still that are new and coming in. And I think I actually missed a comment here. Yeah. Fit coach Marshall, just getting back into cards. Definitely been a learning process. Stocks, cryptos allowed me to see a lot of similarities in between lower and higher retail sales, especially with new shiny things. Yeah, absolutely. There's been a lot of learning lessons for me too over the last couple of years, and I think for a lot of people, look, I mean, there was a huge influx of money into the system, and it had to go somewhere, and it did, and then we all probably won some and lost some. And of course, the stuff that we lost on, you're looking at it like, how could I do better next time? What could I do differently? Absolutely. Totally 100%. Mitchell and Ness, that is the throwback jerseys. Yes. Okay. Quality and innovation. Yeah, Orlando, I think you kind of nailed it. I got into a little bit of a comment spat yesterday. I wouldn't call it a, comment argument with somebody that was saying that, I was basically talking up Prism. I have a belief that there's going to be a future nostalgia for that next generation that was chasing Prism, that are younger, the younger folks, and also not even just like, teenagers, but also, people that are 20, 25. I think that they're going to have a nostalgia around Prism products over the last 10 years. And it seems to be more and more of a thing that Prism might not carry on. And if it does carry on, it's going to be unlicensed product. It's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same as it was. But again, I can't help but just look back at the last 10 years. There's a lot of chase cards. There's a lot of popularity around Prism, whether we're talking about football or basketball. People like that product, wrestling, you just saw the the WWE moved out of their license, or they're trying to terminate their license with Panini. But if you talk to wrestling card collectors, fans, they like Panini products. There's a lot of people that are in that wrestling card community that like Panini over Topps Chrome. But the guy yesterday was kind of saying like, oh, well, Topps, they're just going to keep on doing it. Like they'll just keep on making cards, and people are not going to care. People are not going to, they're going to be fine. They'll move on essentially. And they will. It's not as if like, okay, if Panini goes away that, no one's going to buy Topps Chrome. Of course they're going to buy, Topps Chrome, but that wasn't the point I was making. I was making a point around the period of time, the time period that, if you look back at this hobby boom that we've had over the last 5 years, I would argue it's been going back to really growing since 2016. But there has been a lot of popularity, a lot of love around chasing Panini products. And I think that carries on if we're looking at future nostalgia. I think people are going to look back fondly on these years of product. So I'm looking at more of the time frame, not necessarily what the product looks like, and I also think the product looks good, but it's more about the emotion of the product and the memories around Panini product here over the last few years. That was the point that I was getting at. He was kind of saying, hey, look, there's going to be more Chrome cards. They're going to make, people aren't going to care because another, Topps is going to make great Chrome card. Great. Yes. They've been making Chrome cards for 30 plus years. So yes, there will be more Chrome. There will be more shiny. Not worried about that. But yeah, I hear you, Orlando, on quality and innovation. If there's not another company pushing them, will they, really take it seriously? The hope is yes, but as you said, and I don't know the jersey market, so you might have just more insight on the jersey market, than I do, to where, maybe it's the same with cards. We don't really know. My bigger concern with Ruben is it all just a big play to go public and make $1 zillion? That's what I'm worried about. I know he's already worth $1 zillion, but zillionaires are always looking to make more zillions. And it's not to say that he doesn't care about the space, because I think he does genuinely care about sports and the collectible space. I do think that. I think that he cares about the fans. I think he cares about, because look, he owned a team. He cares about the fans. He cares about the fans. He cares about the leagues. I do think he genuinely cares about that. But I think also he wants to win. He's a bulldog. And I think that he wants to go public, which of course, once you go public, it's that many more zillions. That's another big motivating factor. Let's not kid ourselves here. So yes, I hope that they put huge emphasis into quality and innovation, even though they don't really have any incentive to do so because of the license, the exclusive license that they've got. But look, Panini, as much as people have been kind of really riding on Panini over the last couple of years, quality control, redemptions, there's plenty of things to complain about. They have made some nice looking product, and they had essentially exclusive license with football and basketball. They've had that. So it's not to say that it can't happen. It's just, we'll have to see. We will have to see. Agreed, Brett. Yeah, I met with the good folks, the owners at the National, DC Sports, just good overall people, good people, family business, so that's kind of cool to, their story is a cool one. And they've got a great YouTube channel too. They're actually starting to put out some new YouTube content, but it's high quality stuff. They were actually at the Raleigh Card Show, some of their guys here last week, and they put a video up. Check that out. I'm not sure if it's just called DC Sports 87, but they have a YouTube channel that's it's really high quality stuff. So check that out. Grindstone, what's going on? Yeah, the National is awesome. I think it's just the it's like being, when I go to the Superdome and I'm around 80,000 other Saints fans, and then of course you have the visiting team as well, but how many Saints fans are here in Raleigh? Not that many. It's not like I can go to a sports bar here and it's like, oh, here's the Saints section of the sports bar where you've got 20 people that are here to watch the Saints. The only place I can get that sort of energy is in New Orleans at the Dome. And that's kind of what the National is for card collectors / speculators / investors. The National is the Superdome, for card folks. And then of course, now you've got a bevy of content. You have a lot more card content than you used to have. And we all know each other for the most part. And then if we don't know each other yet, we're getting to know each other. That's kind of the fun of, you're always meeting new people at the National and seeing old friends, whether they're content people or other people that collect the same things that you do. It's just, I don't know. It's become a thing where I don't plan on missing one. I've been to the last 3 and I expect to go every year, of course, barring something weird that happens, hopefully able to make it. But, I can't say enough about it. My opinion on tag and the future of grading with the further development of AI and software versus human grading. It's a great debate. The only thing with tag, and I know one of my hobby content creator fellow, my peers, Jeremy Lee, is heavy into tag. My only thing is I'm a little concerned that the ramp up, they've been marketing for a while. They've been marketing for over a year. And I've heard a lot of great things about the product as far as kind of the submission process, what you get back, the quality of the case, the effort that's put into it. I've heard just a lot of great things. What I'm concerned about though is when are they kind of ramping up? I just haven't seen a lot of data around, and of course we're big on, GemRate data. We're following all the grading companies. I haven't seen, a lot of volume there. So I can't really, I don't feel like I can have an opinion on the company until I see enough volume. There's 4 really strong grading companies in our space that are fighting each other. I know PSA is number 1. They're up here in terms of volume of what they're grading. But there's 3 other companies that are very good, and then, you've got Tag that's bringing in something new. And AI is such a buzzword now. It's such a buzzy thing, with ChatGPT coming out and people are like, ooh, what is this? And it's kind of like cool / scary. The whole AI thing, we talk about Skynet and like, hey, let's not give the robots too much, to work with here, so they're not taking over the military or anything, but so I think it's one of those kind of buzzy things. I wonder how quickly AI is going to advance, and you've got big companies that are working on it. I just don't know. With technology, it's an interesting thing. It kind of reminds me too of blockchain technology with crypto. I think you were talking about crypto earlier, Fit Coach. Blockchain's been talked about for a while now. It hasn't taken over yet. It's not as if it's something that is ingrained in society yet. Maybe it will be at some point, but it's not there yet. And with AI, I kind of wonder the same thing. But that's just macro AI stuff, let alone bringing it all the way down into our niche space, grading cards. I just don't know. So we'll have to see. The jury is out, but always interesting. You have to cheer on innovation. So I don't fault them for trying. It's just seeing the volume, seeing it actually pick up. That's the thing that I haven't seen yet. So I can't pass any sort of judgment, and I haven't used it either. I haven't ran a submission through. So we'll see. A lot to do in Ohio. I'll probably drive from Texas. Yeah, for me, the Football Hall of Fame, the Pro Football Hall of Fame has been on the bucket list forever. And so it just feels like, okay, this makes a lot of sense. I drive in, I hit the Pro Football Hall of Fame, head to the National. Sounds like a great week. Do you feel that the comp system needs to be changed? People feel like they should pay no more than the last sale. I understand if it's a $5 card, but I feel like a low number should go up each sale. It's with collectibles. It's a weird thing where, look, Niles, it's like a collectible is only worth what someone will pay you in that moment at any given time. And that changes moment to moment. Think about it. I mean, think about when you're at a show over the weekend and there's sports going on. We just saw this going back a couple of weeks with Joe Burrow. Going back a few weeks with Joe Burrow, everyone's high on Joe Burrow. We're preseason. Everyone's excited about the season. All of a sudden, there's a calf injury in training camp. And not to say his cards plummet, but the emotion around, it all changes like in a second with athletes. They could get hurt. They could get in trouble. The latest, I feel like collectibles is so complex given all the moving parts. Supply demand. Think about the supply demand equilibrium, or the scale and how that can change in an instant. Now, that's why a lot of people focus around vintage cards, because it doesn't really change in an instant. For Babe Ruth, he can't get in trouble. He can't do anything right now. I guess maybe someone could find out something about his life, but his legacy is in stone, really. And that's why a lot of people, I think, they focus around vintage and also just players that aren't playing anymore. Although, you look at Brett Favre and some of these guys, that there's still risk associated with retired players. But I think that, it's really, really tricky in collectibles. It's really, really tricky, but I think it makes for fun negotiation in a way, probably fun negotiation, but also really fun negotiation, but also, it gets on your nerves too. It's got to be, because like you said, you might have something that seems straightforward to you, but the next guy, the next gal, it's not as straightforward for them, and everyone's trying to get a better deal, so there's, whether you're a collector or you're speculating on something, you're always trying to get a better deal. If you're a collector, the better the deal that you get, the more cards you can buy. If you're a speculator, it's the same sort of thing. Okay, cool. I get to speculate on more stuff. So the comp system is whatever the universe says it is to be, whatever people are willing to pay for something. You know, if we go into some weird economic thing, you know, downturn to where there's bread lines or whatever, you know, you have like really, really bad economic times, which we haven't seen in a very, very long time. All of a sudden the comp system goes out the window because it's literally like, hey, am I buying food or am I buying cards? You know, all of a sudden that it changes dramatically. So, well, and it also depends on each card too. And there's so much nuance in, you know, the high end stuff, the mid end stuff, the low end stuff. Sorry to not give a straight answer, but it's just such a complex question. Yeah, black box and white box. I actually have a Breeze Flawless 1 of 1 white box. I think it's black box actually for my first national going back a couple of years. And it was what somebody got it. And then they weren't a Breeze collector. So I was able to actually trade a Baker Mayfield card and some cash to get into it. And that's one of my all-time Drew Brees holds, kind of like one of my, you know, PC cards that I want to hold on to. Plus, it's the memory of it coming from the first national. There's some added relevance to it. But you make a good point here, Matt. You know, is there going to be any sort of added premium or less of a premium? You know, given well, we have now 1 of 1, like duplicate 1 of 1s. That's a little scary. You look like a senator in that hoodie. What's going on, Mangini? Hope all is well. Yeah, who's the senator that just got he just got indicted? But didn't he already get in trouble going back 5 years, or he got out of getting in trouble, hung jury or something? Like, come on. And like I can't even get into it. It's just so dumb. Like the system overall, you know, but regardless of which party you're into is insanely stupid. That's where I'm at with it. WWE also just got into a merger with a company that owns UFC. Something to keep an eye out for. Yeah. I mean, it just feels like the writing is on the wall that Fanatics is going to own all the things. But I was looking at Paul Lesko Panini responded with a lawsuit to WWE. And Lesko liked their argument. And again, he's the attorney. I'm not one. But if you break down kind of what Paul Lesko on Twitter, just go and look at Paul Lesko. He gives a full breakdown on Panini's response. And the big one is that if there is something to do with harm, that there's irreparable harm, and then there's also a financial component to it. But the fact that basically what he was saying is the fact that, you know, you have the WWE that was basically saying that Panini was doing a good job and then also waited over a year to terminate, you know, there's some issues there's some issues with it to where Panini actually might have a decent case. So I don't know. This is something to watch. I'm just curious to see if Panini is going to really fight to the end, or if they're just going to finally say, you know what, we're selling. This isn't worth it. Because that's really what it feels like to me is Fanatics choking out the opponent, you know, kind of like a boa constrictor. They're wrapped around your neck and they just want to see how far you can go before you tap out. That's a UFC reference. How far can you go before you tap out? That's kind of what it feels like. But, you know, does Panini have enough of a case to get through to survive this thing? You know, how's it going to go? I don't know. It's going to be fun to watch. Of course, we'll be talking about it. You know that. It's a good take, Corey. I think the trading card economy is still evolving. People do more singles like Burbank. They could and should increase. There is a lot of, it's kind of, look, I mean, the amount of people that are at shows. Actually, I was arguing with Flipping Steve about this. He feels that there is not as many people here now in the hobby as there was going back to 2020 when we had kind of our stay-at-home hobby boom, pandemic hobby boom. And I actually think that there's more people here now. Now, are there as many flippers or people still in it for that? Not necessarily, but I think there's flippers that are now collectors, or they're doing a little bit of flipping, but they're also collectors too. So they actually stayed in. Maybe they got in for one reason, stayed in for another. But I also just think there's a lot of new people that are just discovering this, which people that have been in for a while, they might not see that or might not think that, like, oh, why would someone get in now when there's not this great flipping environment? But I think there's a lot of people that are getting in now. So, but we'll have to see. You're right. I agree, though. Still evolving is a good way to put this. Yeah, it's clear that Fanatics is going to do more direct to consumer. it seems to be obvious. I mean, the distribution model is going to be vastly different, I think. Definitely. This is a good take, Jason. Yeah, design and QA, not probably a priority over marketing. Marketing. And the gambling aspects of the hobby, I think you really, really nailed this. It's increased dramatically over the last 10 years. It just didn't exist. I think if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think breaks existed going back about 10 years ago. I think it's about 10 years old, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down at all. If anything, it's picking up. And, so the sports betting, the Fanatics sports book, is that what their betting arm? And then you also have the gambling aspects of the hobby that have increased. If you go back 30 years, it didn't exist, but you still had speculators. You still had people speculating on kind of speculating / gambling on different prospects and that sort of thing. So that's been around, but the actual, the actual gambling aspects of it have increased dramatically over time, especially over the last 10 years. Morning, Raw Dog Card Breaks. Hope all is well. I didn't get this email, Brett. I did not get this email. Actually, I think I know what you're talking about, but we'll see. I might actually have Brad on an off-centered coming up. We'll see. Or maybe we'll just do, I feel like it should be an off-centered. He can pop in for 10, 15 minutes. That would be fun. Morning Sooner history. I'm assuming an Oklahoma fan. Who's Oklahoma playing today? Who's watching Colorado? Deion Sanders' Colorado Buffaloes. I have not watched college football in years. Haven't really cared that much, but I'm all in on Colorado. I'm watching it. I want to see if they can keep it going, especially with Travis Hunter. They're really their best player, I think. He's out because he was targeted last week. That was great. But now the guy that targeted is getting like death threats. It's crazy. So yeah. And even Deion Sanders said, hey, look, wasn't a great play, but nobody should be getting death threats over a football game. So there you go. The Colorado Buffaloes. I also saw something that Colorado University or something to the effect, like something that Colorado has generated $90 million in ad money or something, but maybe it's all in with jersey sales and all the stuff for the university in the first 3 weeks of the season. It's insane. And I remember too, when they signed Deion Sanders to that head coaching job, they didn't even have the money to pay for it. I'm not even sure how they were able to do it, but University of Colorado signed him to like a $4 or $5 million a year deal over like 5 years or something without having the money to pay out that contract. So I don't talk about just like rolling the dice, but it's going to pay off for them. It looks like if they can kind of keep it going. I don't know if they have to win every single game, but man, they are the most exciting story in college football. And I don't want to say all of sports because I feel like that's kind of, generic to say, but it's a great story. The fact that his son plays quarterback, I don't know. It's just fun. And you can't not like Deion Sanders' energy. It's awesome. My Saints tackle battle the Packers and Lambeau this week. I think it's going to be a really tough game, to be honest. I think I think it's going to be a struggle. Not because I don't know what the weather is in Lambeau. I'm not really worried about that. I just feel like away game, outside, our offense still hasn't quite figured it out yet. We're going to have to get the run game going. We don't have Kamara back until next week, and Jamal Williams got hurt. So we have kind of a couple of backs that we're throwing together to go out there. It's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough to come away with a win, especially because Jordan Love has actually played good football. They really should have beat the Falcons last week, but the Falcons actually look halfway decent. So we'll see. Yeah. Is that the senator that this dumb senator? It's like, you got to be kidding me. But it's like, there's a story like that. And again, regardless of party, it's always some idiot out there doing something. It's like, I can't watch it. I cannot watch it. What's going on, Scotty? It's a good question. Derek Carr hasn't really shown. He's had flashes, but I'll be honest with you. And again, people are going to be like, you are nuts to make this comparison, but Drew Brees in 2006, his first few weeks of the season, he looked very similarly. He was managing the game. He did some good things, showed some flashes. He wasn't lighting the world on fire. His first season in the offense under Sean Payton, It took him a little bit to get his sea legs to where he was, Drew Brees with the Saints. It happened about halfway through the season. So with Derek Carr, I think it just boils down to can Michael Thomas stay healthy? What does Alvin Kamara look like coming off of the suspension? Is he the old Alvin Kamara? Because we have a lot of weapons if guys are healthy. We've got, I always say, I can't remember his name, but it's like Shabazz. It's our speed receiver. We've got Olave, and then we've also got Shabazz, but that's not his name. It's the other speed guy. So we have Michael Thomas covering the middle of the field. We've got 2 speed guys. Olave is awesome. And for tight ends, we've got Juwan Johnson, we got Jimmy Graham, and we've got the guy from the Raiders that followed him. I'm drawing a blank on his name. So we've got 3 solid tight ends. I mean, we have guys. We have players. Jamal Williams is a touchdown machine for the Lions last year. He got injured. So we have guys, and our defense is good. So it's just a matter of staying healthy and staying the course. We will see. We will see. I will be at the Saints-Lions game in December with my brother. I'm excited about that, to see my brother, and then also to see how the Saints are doing in December, along with the Lions are a good team too. All right, Grindstone. I assume you're at a show getting set up. Good luck. Good luck today. Good luck today. What's going on, Ricardo? Oh, okay. Oklahoma's playing Cincinnati. Interesting. Yeah, well, Baker Mayfield's playing pretty good with the Bucks. It's funny. The NFC South stinks, right? Preseason, the NFC South is terrible, and every team is 2-0 except for the Panthers are 0-2. So. But yeah, the NFC South has actually looked halfway decent so far this year. Yeah. I think you're talking about Deion Sanders. Packers' first home game. Yeah, that's the thing. It's going to be loud. Now, look, Derek Carr he's been in the league for 10 years, so it's not like he's not a rookie. So I'm not worried about him handling crowd noise, but it will be loud there. Their home opener. I've been to Lambeau, and it's that environment is no joke. We have got to get something going on the ground. They've got a great secondary. They have good linebackers too. I mean, they're a good team. Packers are a good team. So it's going to be tough to win in Lambeau. It always is. It's always tough to win in Lambeau, but also Jordan Love looks good. That's the thing is that if Jordan Love was struggling out of the gate, it'd be like, okay, well, they don't have their quarterback figured out, but Jordan Love actually looks like he's a starter in the NFL. Michael Ham, what's going on, dude? Hope all is well. Ham Bone. Carr has 0 chance with Allen. Well, no, he's got Pete Carmichael is the offensive coordinator, JG, the same guy that was Drew Brees' offensive coordinator. So the offense is the same. The offense is the same. It's the same Peyton offense, just with Carmichael calling the plays. It's the same. But you actually have, Allen coach. He's a defensive coach, so he's making sure our defense is solid. Hopefully, we just got to stay healthy. We lost a couple guys in the secondary this week, a couple of starters. Now I've heard that we've got young guys that they're excited about, but Lattimore obviously is good. He's great. But we'll have to just see if we can hold up against the pack. We'll see. Yeah, we just haven't really seen him. He's made a couple of boneheaded interceptions. That's my only concern with Carr is he had a couple of INTs that were on him. It wasn't like tipped ball interceptions. It was like just dumb throws, like almost in the red zone too. So he's got to clean it up. We have to put a full game together. We have to put a game together where the offense is clicking. It's just got to happen. The off-season quarterback play, that's the thing, Corey. I did the same thing on ComC, actually. I bought a bunch of Jordan Love stuff, and I've sold some of it going back to January, February timeframe. All right, guys, I'll probably wrap up here pretty soon. We're at 45 minutes. Man, that time flew. Good Lord, time just flew by. Appreciate the people that showed up here on a Saturday morning. Everyone's busy with family stuff, so I appreciate that very much. Like I said, my family is out of the house here for a few minutes, so I thought I would pop on here and just kind of hang out for a little while. So if you have anything you want to, got maybe 5 minutes left, anything else you want to just talk about quickly, we can do that. But then I'll jump off and get ready for the day. Absolutely, Corey. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. I want to try to continue to do more of the solo live streams on occasion. It's just tough, making videos. And then we've also got other live streams we're doing on the channel and doing different collaborations, which is always fun. But I like doing just the one-on-one stuff too on occasion. Not G.I. Joe, not G.I. Joe. No, I respect, especially kind of going back to the 80s stuff. I really like that stuff. There's a video coming out on my second channel, Collectibles Dad, today that's going to talk about Star Wars collectibles. And specifically, I want to look a little bit harder into the original Kenner action figures sealed that are graded. I'm going to look into probably picking up a couple pieces there. Yeah, the Bears have struggled, and my stepdad is a huge Bears fan. Shout out to him. Shout out to Rob. But yeah, the Bears just, Justin Fields, he just hasn't quite put it together. He hasn't quite put it together. What's going on, man? What's going on? Swamp Donkey? Morning, everybody. Like I said, if you guys are just joining, I've got maybe 5 more minutes and then I've got to hop off. But for the 50, 60 people that joined us this morning, I really appreciate it. Again, this is just kind of thrown together last second. New background, no. It's just I usually when I'm on off-centered, I'll go downstairs and hook into I hardwire in to the modem so that I don't get bounced off. Sometimes the Wi-Fi can be a little funky. No, it's the same background, really. I've added a couple of cards back there. My Walt Disney card is right next to my head, the 31 Walt Disney rookie card in a SlabMag. I can't speak enough. SlabMags, again, I can't speak enough about that company as well. I know they're $20-$25, and for some people, it's a lot of money for a SlabMag. It's not for every card in the collection, but if you've got a handful of kind of your premier cards, I've got a 10% off coupon code. I put it in every video description for every video. 10% off. You can get through that code, but they're awesome. I mean, they look great. They've got a bunch of different colors. They also have UV protection if you've got autographs, which is important. And then, of course, you don't want your slab to get busted or whatever. So, yeah. Morning, Bo. What's up, Gene? Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, Luca's kind of the guy I like watching. I'm just worried about Luca's conditioning. When I look at him, he's gotten a little chunkier, over the last few years. And it's kind of like, if he's going to have kind of that killer instinct and he's going to have a LeBron style career, to where he's got some longevity. I know he said he doesn't necessarily want to play for 20 years. But he's going to have to really take the conditioning / diet part more seriously, in my opinion. He's just he's playing a little heavy. He can still play it. The guy can throw up 40 points, playing a little heavier, but no, he's going to have to really kind of pull it together, I think. I am not going to Chantilly this time. It's the show that's been on the docket for a while, and I just have not been able to get to it. So, yeah, Gene, it would be fun to hang out. But yeah, I'm not going to make it to Chantilly. I almost went to the Raleigh card show last week, and I just wasn't able to get it last second. I wasn't able to get there, but I always like going to my local Raleigh card show. Sooner, I don't have a ComC discount code, but there is a special running. I do have a link in a lot of the video descriptions. And they are running a TCG special this month, 30% off. I believe it's elite submissions. ComC it's a fun, go check out ComC just to see what they've got. If you do like kind of buying and selling kind of that lower end and mid end stuff, ComC is a lot of fun. Eat a lot of burgers. I don't know, but it's I don't know. Hey, I can't talk. I've thrown on a few pounds, and guys, I am the intermittent fasting machine. I'm ramping it up. That's my usual go-to. I do the 16-8 intermittent fasting, but over the summer I've been stressed out about a lot of stuff, done some stress eating, but I'm pulling back. I am pulling back. I want to get to a little bit more of that pandemic lean sports card, Dad. That's what we're looking to do. What's going on, Chris? Good to see you, man. Chris always hooks me up. Actually, he had Chris Vegas Fine 777 hooked me up with the guy for my Mad Balls. Boy, that didn't sound right. My sealed Mad Balls stuff. Chris has got all the different things. Good to see you, buddy. I hope that you're doing well out there in Vegas. Yeah, super early. I think I know this is going to sound funny for people that don't follow the Saints, but Juwan Johnson, we just have too many weapons right now. Derek Carr's going to spread the ball around, and so Johnson might have a great week, might not. If that's who you're talking about, under 170, no. I've only been under 170 one time. I was going through a divorce at 26, and I was 165, and I was too thin. I was way too thin. No, I want to drop about 10. And look, I lift weights and stuff, so I'm not trying to necessarily be like, mega skinny, but I just need to. I've got a little extra padding that I don't need. I don't need the winter coat. It's a little bit bigger than I'd like it to be. Sweet. Oh, okay. Video game auction on Tuesday. I need to check this stuff out. Yeah, biggest finds. Okay, so Chris has got a lot of the vinyl. Yes, Chris has got, he's got action figures, he's got games, he's got a lot of different things, cards. But Vegas Find 777. Throw out where they can find you too. You're on, is that your Whatnot name? Is it Vegas Find 777 on Whatnot, Chris? Yeah. Okay. So, well, just let me know. Let me know if that's your name so people can find you on Whatnot. 4 p.m. tonight. Check out Chris. If anything, Chris is just hella entertaining. What are the kids saying these days? Hella entertaining. So go check out Chris. Oh, okay. It's Wax Arcana Records on Whatnot. Search it up. Chris is hilarious. So if anything, you know what? I'll look to tune in, Chris, just to hang out. Hella. I know. Yeah. You know what my issue is, Mike, is I've just been like in my window, I'm just eating too much. That's really what it boils down to. It's like you only have this window, which I'm doing great there. I'm just eating too much in my window. It's like, dude, I'm not even hungry. Like, stop eating. Thanks, Angel. Hope you are well, dude. Hope you are well. I know you got into cards early. You always remind me in the comments section. So, but good for you. You've done great. You've done great, but I appreciate you saying so. All right, guys, I'm going to bounce off before the family gets home and it gets loud and the dog is barking and all that. I just wanted to take this quiet time to hang out with you guys for a little bit. But thank you very much for chilling, hanging out on a Saturday morning. Let's go Saints on Sunday. And then look, guys, we got the Colorado Buffaloes. We got a fun college football week ahead. All right, buddy. Take care, Chris. All right, guys. Thank you. I'll talk to you later.